Hi guys, Reform UK is a one-trick pony. They have pretty much one issue, immigration, that they keep banging on about with the hope that it will help them gain traction and win them more seats. This may seem nonsensical, as we saw at the recent election, the clear majority of people want issues like the NHS and the cost of living dealt with, and delivered a massive blow to the Tories over the fact that they did not deliver in those areas. So a Reform UK MP wasted the time of his constituents again in the House of Commons on the issue of the ECHR. Now, the Home Secretary sort of ignored his question. Some may ask why.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that dangerous foreign criminals have been using the ECHR as a loophole to remain in the UK, would the Home Secretary agree with me it is time to leave the ECHR and restore the sovereignty of our own borders?
The purpose of setting up a Border Security Command is in order to strengthen the security of our borders. We will do that by working with other countries, and it is crucial that we work with other countries to tackle the gangs and the boats before they reach the French coast in the first place. We have increased our cooperation with new agreements in place with the G7, with Europol, with Italy, working on new agreements with France, Germany and Belgium. Those agreements will not be possible if we are somehow abandoning international law.
Okay, so notice that she didn't respond to the guy directly. She didn't name him. Normally they say, I'd like to thank the honourable gentleman for his question or something like that. Yvette Cooper didn't even acknowledge the question in a sense. Now, she of course did respond by saying, look, we're not going to rip up international treaties. We're going to follow the rule of law. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why, and I've been scratching my head over this for a number of days now, why is Labour not, for example, dealing with the issue of immigration by creating safe routes? This would take the topic off the table. The number of small boats crossing the channel would dry up pretty much. And Reform UK and the Conservatives would have no ammunition against the Labour government. But then I started thinking, maybe Labour actually want this to continue. Because in the past, the Conservatives were stronger than Labour on immigration. That was in the eyes of the public. So people, when it came to the issue of immigration, would vote for the Tories over Labour. But now there's a new kid on the block, a new kid in town, Reform UK. So anyone who's quote-unquote concerned about immigration is not really going to vote for Labour over the Conservatives or the Conservatives over Labour. They're going to vote for Reform UK over the Conservatives. So the issue of immigration, the longer it stays rattling about, it's going to create problems for the Conservatives, not for Labour. Because anyone on the far right who was considering maybe voting for Labour are now actually going to vote for Reform UK. And they're going to take votes away from who? From the Conservatives, not from Labour. Now, Labour could lose a few seats in the next election over the issue of immigration, but where they lose, they'll probably gain from the Tories because the right-wing vote will be split. So Reform will benefit because they're offering, pie-in-the-sky solutions. The Conservatives can't really run on their platform from before because they oversaw a massive increase in the numbers of people coming in. And then Labour can sort of sit on the sidelines knowing that, well, if we actually fix this problem, it will take away this damage to the Conservatives, because the biggest threat to Labour is not Reform UK, it's the Conservative Party. So as long as the Conservatives are battling it out with reform over immigration, it's allowing the Labour Party to sit quite comfortably. Now, that's the political option, I think, and this is the political decision making. But from a moral point of view, surely they would like to create safe routes because this would reduce the numbers of people dying in the channel. The priority should not be, let's keep the Conservatives and Reform UK fighting and at each other's throats. Let's try and reduce the number of people crossing the channel by creating safe routes and thus saving lives. That should be the priority. But I'm getting the impression that Labour would be happy to see this continue to rattle about because they're protected. Reform UK are taking votes away from the Conservatives and thus helping Labour. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. And hopefully I'm wrong. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.